What's going on, coin traders? Thanks for joining me. Looking at ICP, Internet Computer ICP on that ticker. Huge negative day for all of crypto, but specifically big negative day for ICP. The big reason is because now we are going to be closing in about 30 minutes here below the $4 psychological, which has been extremely big support for the last 2 months. So as you can see, coming off of the low right now, which the all-time low is still at 3,321. Rallied up over the next few days and weeks, found rejection and resistance at this $4 before finally breaking it on the 20th of June. So ever since the 20th of June, we have actually been finding very nice support with multiple tests maintaining bullish closes on top of this $4 psychological level. So extremely bad sign now that we are looking at a big substantial close. So not really any shot of this recovering here in the next 30 minutes before we do actually get that close. And now, unfortunately, at the end of July, we were looking at a little bit of a bullish, optimistic outlook for ICP here because we were topping out and getting a new higher high, also meanwhile maintaining multiple higher lows. But now you can see that we've actually knocked out all of those and lost that high. So especially after rejecting and showing lots of resistance, specifically from the 12 and 26 period exponential moving averages on this move, failed to actually overcome that big resistance point and then our huge flush today. So very negative in the sense that now we're going to be looking at this $4 level as being another big resistance point once again to overcome for ICP. So likely this does mean an extreme big test of some lower supports. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we are going to be running down and testing a new all-time low right now. But there are still plenty of downside levels and supports to be mindful of. So first one that we actually bounced off of and still found closing support on top of right now. Very strong at 3,659, which is where we did actually have our daily closing support coming in off the low back in June. Now, I'm personally not really expecting too many signs of just a complete bounce and recovery, although with Bitcoin right now, that is kind of one of the things that we have to actually be mindful of is that every single move, whether it be bullish or bearish, has actually had kind of an opposite effect. So huge bear spike initially, then bullish, then bearish again, then bullish, and now another flush to the downside. So whether or not we actually do get the next follow-on bullish day, I think there's going to be a lot of volatility, choppy sideways action, which hopefully doesn't necessarily rub off as bearish against the rest of the crypto space. So flipping over to the weekly log chart here now, talk about some other longer term support. So we already have our initial longer term closing support at 3,659, but below that we also have weekly closing support down to 3,597. So effectively the $360 level. Below that we would be looking down to about 350 even, and then below that would be 336, and then below that is going to be coming in at our all-time low below 331. So despite the fact that on this bounce attempt coming off of our all-time low in June, we weren't able to actually put in that high and found resistance on this 12-period weekly EMA, it does seem probable now that we're going to start to tighten up in this overall range, probably between $4 and down to about 330. Realistically, I think the main point of price is going to go down to about 350. But obviously, if those levels do end up breaking with a big flush of continued bearish volume and momentum, then that is going to push prices down to about the $3 psychological level. But I'm not really expecting that much bearishness pressure overall just yet, unless we actually do get a huge flush out of Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto space. The big problem with ICP and a lot of the other cryptos right now is just that there's not enough bullish hype and momentum or nothing even propelling it. Now, we do have the Bitcoin halving coming up here in about April of 2024. So about 8 months away, we might start to see a little bit of hype and euphoria starting to come in at that point. But until then, overall, I'm actually still expecting a lot of stagnation in the overall markets as a whole, which is one of the reasons why I do think that this $3 psychological level is actually going to hold, or rather the lows that we're looking at right now. So continuing to pull back and actually start to tighten, I think is going to be one of the favorable setups that we are going to start to experience. So personally, no reason to panic right now, but just enjoy those nice entries, especially since we have been waiting over 2 months to actually see those nice entries below the $4 psychological level for the close for ICP. So this could be a very nice time to dollar cost average into your position even further and actually get on and actually make new entries and positions coming in as we approach the all-time low. Obviously, definitely not financial advice, but that's one strong way to play it because, for example, if we do see prices go from about $382 right now up to the previous, let's just call it $8 level, then that would be a 100% gain more than. So that is a very nice opportunity for returns compared to if you had bought, say, on the upper level of about $450 or so, up to that level is only about a 73%. So plenty more opportunity to see upside when you do start to make new entries at these lower lows. Obviously, nothing does offset the feeling of seeing your portfolio go down with these types of moves. But just know that buying and dollar cost averaging when these moves do happen is one of the risk management strategies that we talk about, and that does lead to higher highs and higher gains when we do reverse and the charts do start trending back to the upside. Obviously not financial advice, but personally I think Internet Computer ICP is one of the stronger altcoin projects that does have a lot of potential that we could see perform very well on this next bull cycle. So I am looking forward to seeing the potential that we are experiencing out of Internet Computer ICP. All right, well, unfortunately, not too much more to talk about since we have broken such a huge support. We are going to be looking at a little bit more downside, waiting to basically establish a support and consolidate since we're not really going to be experiencing anything in the immediate short term for a bounce, basically, unless we do see a complete news-driven catalyst. But overall, expectations are still that we do sit in this range from pretty much the $4 level down to about $3.50 for probably at least the next week or more. But as always, definitely let me know your comments, predictions, and all of that stuff down in the comment sections below. Do love getting back to each and every one of you. Also, do drop me a note over on Twitter at @coin_trades is the handle over there. As always, appreciate all the continued love and support. It does mean so much. Stay safe, take care, everyone, and I'll catch you back in the next video.